Q&Asa. Game on daily.
Welcome to another Q&A, sir. Where we talk about the past, present, and the future of games. They all converge and we have a wonderful time. I am almost 10 minutes late, and it's Patrick's fault entirely. If you're on the Gaming Arcadia Discord, you know that I was ready at 9:58, and he put up the most haunting, disgusting tooth child toy I've ever seen, and I've just been shaking, rocking in my chair for 10 minutes. But I'm a grown-up, I'm brave, I've got over it. I've gone live. So, how's everybody doing? Oh, I'm really warm. It's really warm in here. Probably the effect of all the rocking back and forth. That toy is not cute. Freaking horrific thing. Anyway, this is Q&Asa. If you're here, it means you already know what the show is, because I haven't told anyone that I do this show. I keep it a secret. I don't go on to the Twitters and Instagrams and TikToks and all these things that everybody uses to publicize themselves. I just go live, and if you know, you know. So thank you for the people that know and are here to listen. We're gonna go, just in case somebody accidentally clicks on it and turns up, or goes on Twitch, you know, the other one, or something silly like that. We'll run over how it works real quick. Just a big conversation. You talk to me and you talk to each other. You talk about Fugglers, which is the weird toothy doll, or you talk about anything else, but mostly games, and we go back and forth, and it has a nice little flow to it. If that's not good enough for you, or if you're swimming in piles and piles of cash, you can throw money at the internet to do the whole like super chat and stuff like that, but you don't need to. Those are just there and fun. It's not Arkham City, Connor. It's, you know, you're along the right lines clearly, and I've chosen it because of the Arkham theme of certain bits and pieces. So Pete, it's not. I don't think I'm going to cover that one off, to be fair. So what else have we got? Yeah, you can jump on Discord if you want. It's a conversational show. You can actually use your face and your voice if you feel so inclined. You can jump onto, once again, that wonderful Gaming Arcadia Discord server and come on for a couple of minutes and shout at the world. Again, you don't have to. And what else have we got? There will be the YouTube Q&A box is going to appear at some point as well, and you can stick whatever you want in there. What's that sign you get in car parks that just warns you that I take no responsibility for any damages or theft or anything else? Like, you put it in there at your own risk, but you can put at your own risk anything you like in the Q&A box, and we'll check everything at the end of the show. So yeah, I'll happily read it, FTW. I can, like, I don't think there's anything controversial about talking down the acts of Jimmy Savile. So Jimmy Savile is a fuggler is a fine thing to say. I just figured maybe I won't take the conversation further in that direction. Yeah, I think that's fine to, you know, pivot back and get onto some gaming stuff, because we always start the show talking about what I've been playing, what all of you have been playing. Oh no, Replicant has, oh no, it's getting dark. Replicant's got real Jimmy Savile stories. At Replicant, if you're feeling okay about it, you can tell your story. I think you might have mentioned it before, actually. I think you might have mentioned it before. So, while you're reliving a traumatic past, let's go over games that we've been playing. Because I've been playing quite a few different things, but only in tiny little bouts and doses, because I'm still mostly focused on Pyre, and I don't want to talk about Pyre very much today, because I said some bits and pieces about it in the week on various podcasts that we do. And next up for that one is the review that covers everything. Burger King was shut, and then your Surface blue screened. Problem solved. Eat the surface. Damn, I'm good at this whole like puzzle solving thing. That's why I live stream puzzle games so effectively, because you just put this information in front of me and I instantly know the solution. All problems gone. So, you're still playing Guardians of the Galaxy Chronic. How are you finding it? Is it your first time through? I nearly used my Guardians of the Galaxy background today, but then I decided that doesn't fit. I'm going to use this background. Guardians of the Galaxy's gameplay wasn't its strength by any measure, but it's an awesome game. I love that one very much. Might play it again someday. Sufficiently pretty on your nicely spec PC that you've got. Passable gameplay. So Diddy, do I have a problem? Should I seek help? I don't follow. I have no idea what that means. So, you're crying and ordering pizza. See, that's why my puzzle solving skills are superior, because there was no crying if you'd done as I said. But then you do end up with pizza on your method, so it's not all bad. IP arrives soon for you. What's happening? Auto rain. Why? This is a gaming show. FTW. I was correct the first time to have not read that initial comment, wasn't I? It's all gone to shit. Yeah, it's all gone to shit. Tell me more about games. Guardians of the Galaxy, brilliant, good humour throughout, outdoes the films, and the films aren't bad as Marvel stuff goes, but the game is better. Actually tells a good story as well. I don't know how far into it you've got, and obviously I'm not going to spoil anything, but good game. Surface team rip. They're still doing the Surface lineup of hardware though, aren't they, Tony? I know they've shifted some things around. Read your full name with a comment and it'll all make... Oh, I can see your full name. To be fair, it is a good name. You get props for the Wakanov. But yeah, okay, good. I can't fault the wordplay. So, Tom, you had a friend, a young lad, oh no, who wrote into Savo asking to fix it. For him to meet Gary Glitter, oh no. What's happened? What has happened? Hard reset, games. So I played Orcs Must Die 3 on Thursday. Specifically, I played it because the Thursday's the Xbox Series podcast, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to make a habit of sticking... Oh, no, Pete, stop. Of sticking... an Xbox game on so that I could talk about it on the Thursday. So I specifically played Orcs Must Die 3 so that I could talk about it on the Xbox Series podcast when we were going over stuff that we've been playing, and then I completely forgot to mention it or talk about it. So, oh, fuck you. You're Ivan Wakanov as well. That makes sense, like it fits. You are a genius with the wordplay. Luke, I don't know what's happening. You're a lawyer. I might need your help. To distance me from these people. Isla, you play Forza Motorsport even though you're fully aware that practicing is illegal for the games that we play on the community nights. So you're just like speaking up in an act of defiance. And Tales of Kenzura that you won from Deadly Headless competition, which is awesome. You're powerless in this chat. How do I give you the power that you need, Luke? Save me. Tony, your pen pal from prison said that he's a gamer and watched my show. He would like to appear on here, but he can't because of the whole jail cell thing. Is this a true story, Tony, or is this did this come from the depths of Tony's arse? And can people watch my show in prison? That's good. Do you reckon I could broadcast the show from in prison? I'm not going to prison, don't get me wrong, but maybe. Nate, you're still on the Mandalores. Are you still doing the no hostilities, no bandits, no rivals, all of that kind of stuff? Playing a nice casual game mode. I know the people that have got into Mandalores have all said that actually it's met their expectations. It's really good. They're all enjoying it, but it's not high on my list because it looks like it'll take. If it is as good as that, then it will take too long. So it's behind Total Warhammer 3, whatever, you know, the Warhammer games, the Total War series. That's been on my list for the deep games for a long time. And all of the 4X games, I need to get into all of those. I want to play all of these things. Cancel the show. I'm going to go and play every single game right now. Look, you've been playing Stellar Blade and No Rest for the Wicked. And trying to finish Prince of Persia Lost Crown. So Prince of Persia I didn't like. Metroidvania, that one, we can stick that in the bin. No Rest for the Wicked. I've obviously seen a lot of back and forth from you in the Discord about that. I know your thoughts on that. But tell me about Stellar Blade. Should I be like moving it up my list of priorities? Because I've got it on the list of I'm going to play that at some point. But it's on the I'm not in a hurry list. Based on what I've seen of the demo. I don't know if the demo is actually a fair representation of what the game is once it opens up a bit. If it actually gets better, if the demo is like underselling it, then I might bump it up the list. Replicant, you're awful at 4X games. Is that a thing? Can you be bad at those? I always figured they were... like, because you have so many options in how you approach them, I didn't think that you could be awful at them. But it makes sense. Like it's a genre that people invest so much time into. I guess there's an expectation that you get good to a certain level to be able to progress through it. Replicant Stellar Blade is fantastic, and Replicant has quite discerning tastes. So, Alderain, you've been playing Fallout 4 for the first time and you're loving it. So Fallout 4 is one that's available in VR and works on my treadmill. So it is on my list. All of the VR stuff is really high on my list at the moment because I've been neglecting it through lack of time. And I love my VR. Just takes a bit of setting up, especially if I'm going to stream it or anything like that. But I'm going to get back into Fallout. I'm going to find a nice, effective, fully compiled list of mods and see if I can make that game as good as it should be in VR. Because out of the box, it's not brilliant. But so Luke says it's very good. It's pretty vapid in terms of story, but everything else is excellent. Did you notice? Because Luke, you played the demo as well. Did you notice much of a difference in the feel of it from demo version to patched release version? I know they changed all of the parry and dodge timings to feel a little bit nicer. But Isla's back. She did not eat the surface. The pizza is on the way. Gamzee loves pancakes. Everyone loves pancakes. Never trust Luke. He uses random words that nobody else uses. That's why I trust him, Lethal Migraine. Random words are like, yep, sign of integrity. Maybe. Never trust a Luke. Luke, they're all against you. Not me, though, sir. Not me. We've had good conversations. I know where you're at. But both of you that are playing Stellar Blade are saying it's really good. So now I'm even more tempted. I think my next actual game, though, when I finished Pyre and put out a review for it, I think my next review game, I only decided this like 3 minutes ago, so it's very likely that my mind will change 18 times before I actually get around to doing it. I think my next review game will be Sandlands, if I can get hold of it. Because I've not seen enough on that. I'm quite interested in it. Gamzee, you don't like Stellar Blade? Why don't I need Stellar Blade? Oh, just calm yourself down. Calm yourself down. I'm relaxed and I'm glad that you're here, but you've got a mic to pay off. So calm the super chats down. You've done enough by piercing through my ears with your voice on Tuesdays. But no, thank you. Thank you very much. Again. Who's Luke? Who's Luke? How dare you? Luke, are you going to take that from him? Gamzee has debatable taste in games. Do you know, Gamzee's taste in games is fine. His refusal to accept other people's taste in games, that's where it gets a little dicey. That's where it gets dicey. But Gamzee manages to play an awful lot and talk an awful lot about games. So I actually do, for all of the trolling and the back and forth, I do respect his take on games. It is good to hear about. And so, like, there's loads of people that are playing all of these games who I trust so much more than the likes of like your IGNs and all the rest of it. And this isn't it's fashionable to get on the bandwagon and take digs at IGN, but just as representative of big media, you know, much rather hear from you lot. You never said it's bad, I just need to beat Rebirth. Yeah, so my plan of action, right? I'm not necessarily reviewing Rebirth, or I'm not prioritizing it in that sense, but I very much want to play it for my own sake, because I am enjoying it. So I've got Dragon's Dogma 2 as well, which I think is going to wait until after Rebirth. But those are on the list of things that I'm playing for my own sake rather than for like also making content. Pyre is my content priority, so I have to play Pyre. I think Sandland is going to be my next content priority, so I have to play that. So getting into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth again is like, I really want to, but it has to go lower down when I've got bits of time available. That has to be like my time, and my time isn't a time that exists most weeks. I don't really know how to carve it out. Otherwise, I'd play everything. Exactly, Darge. Do content. That is the plan. Aldo Rain, you wondered how I met Gaz. That was an accident. But too late to change it now, eh? Pete, you hope your bro Tom gets a good night's kit. Yeah, so Com's got Tom has horrible toothache. Toothache can be really nasty. Very much painful if you get one of those. And he's suffering right now, so he's not here. But maybe that helps him figure out the depths of his simulation theory. Unless any of you have access to a time machine. It's an idea. Shouldn't Luke be grading papers or something? I don't know, Luke. Do you do exams in your spare time? Grading? Darge, we need to do content. Gamsy and Darge, what kind of content is this going to be? Because I'm intrigued. I would like to see whatever it is. Popularity writes, Stellar Blade is smarter to review, but Sandland is lovely. Honestly, Gamsy, my tendency on reviews is not to chase what's already thoroughly covered. I know that I could do a review for Stellar Blade and I could get like a thumbnail that has extreme emphasis on like tits and arse, one or the other or both, and then actually probably contort quite well, and get more views. But that's not actually something I'm overly bothered about. I can do Sandland and get different views from people that are more genuinely interested in what there is to say about it, I reckon. So I managed to get in for a little cameo. I hope the painkillers do the job. So Gamsy, have you been playing Sandland? Replicant, you've not been paying much attention to it. I mean, it's... Unless you're already into like the anime scene, I can imagine that would be a very easy one to gloss over. But I would like to give it a go. It's on my list to play at some point anyway, and I've seen such little coverage of it that's like motivation, I think. I know there's a demo, but I am going to play it at some point. So it's one of those where if I know that I'm going to play a game, fuck the demo. Don't touch it. I played the Stellar Blade demo because I wasn't sure if I would play the game. And the demo was like good enough that I decided, yes, I'll play it at some point. But Sandland, I don't know, there's just something about it that makes me intrigued enough to have it on my list already. Like, what are the other ones? There's loads of games that have demos that I am specifically avoiding because I know I'm going to play them. And then 30 years passes and I go, oh, forgot about that. Anyway, tell me more about the games that all of you have been playing. Has nobody been playing Sandland? Lethal Migraine, I never answered yesterday. When do we get a Google designed and created Q&Asa handheld? Well, I'm not sure if I have much sway over Google. I'm not sure if I have much leverage to make them do what I want, but if I did have all that leverage to make them do what I want, you know it wouldn't be a handheld. Or if it was a handheld, it would be a flexible one that I could somehow strap to my face. But a Google VR headset is supposedly in the works. They're supposed to be partnering with Samsung and all the rest of it, so we shall see. I can't claim that it was my influence. Stephen Southwick, have I watched the Deadly Headley video, and do I think that Xbox would do what he suggests? Be a massive blunder if they don't, but you suspect that they won't. Stephen, so I have watched the video. Deadly Headley talks about a few things in it. Are you referring to Call of Duty on Game Pass? Because they will do that, or they're liars. Like, they've pretty much said that they will do that, so I don't think they can very easily walk that back. And I don't think they're going to. No, I think Call of Duty is on Game Pass this year. Oh, he mentions that the handheld as well, doesn't he? Well, we'll see. He was quite quick on that video, was Deadly Headley as well, because it included the news of the day yesterday, wrapped into his video. But he had still managed to get the editing nice and tidy, so good job him on that one. Isla, Peep, indeed, back at you. Pete, demos are good to try before you decide you shouldn't have bothered. Yeah, like, I'm sure there's been loads of games in the past. Has anybody got any examples actually of a game that you had no interest in, but a demo came about? And it can be like recently, or it can be back in the days where your demo just came on magazines and stuff. But a game where you played the demo and were like, whoa, okay, I'm buying that now. Or the opposite, where there was a game that you were excited about and you were about to buy it, and then you played the demo and went, oh, dodged a bullet with that. What a shit game. Gamsy, you wouldn't recommend that I buy something that has controversial combat? What games have controversial combat? And why would you not recommend them if they have controversial combat? Normally, if the combat is controversial, I would say, I mean, I don't know how you can have controversial combat unless you mean like it's stirring trouble with the levels of gore or something worse. But if you mean controversial, like divisive, some people love it and some people hate it, maybe I'd be on the side that loves it. Lethal Migraine, athletes love Call of Duty. That's how Xbox needs to market itself. Send out consoles all over the world to the top players and teams in the top leagues. Well, yeah, but all of those people have already got the consoles that they want because they're all filthy rich, right? So Xbox can send them all of their Xboxes and stuff and they'll go, whatever, I'm playing on PlayStation. That would be the risk of doing that. Athletes don't... Well, I guess depends on the sport, but if you're talking about the major ones, I don't think many of them are interested in giving it that marketing push because they know their worth as a marketing tool. So they would insist on a whole lot of money to social media that, I think. But if they didn't, then that would be silly of them. Look, you had the inverse when you played the Brutal Legend demo and you absolutely loved it. And you bought the game and found it was effectively an RTS, so the demo didn't cover the RTS side of it. Brutal Legend is supposed to get a remaster in the near future. I can't remember where I saw that rumour. Wait a minute, Replicant's arguing, and what's Gamsey saying? The combat of Sandland might not be my thing, but the story and how it's told is very Dragon Ball. Bart Gamsey, what, if you had to describe the kind of combat that I enjoy in a video game, or some examples of what those games would be, what are you basing this on? What's your speculative idea of what I enjoy in combat? And Replicant wants to play just to argue about that. Isla's Pizza is hungry, that's... He telling for Dodge. What does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know. Oh, okay, you're telling Dodge that Sandland might not be for him because of the combat. So what kind of combat does Dodge like? Damn it. Look, you're allowed to. I did say you talk to me and you talk to each other, but I didn't say that I'm not going to butt into the conversation and make it all about me. I love Skyrim, so combat surely isn't that. Ah, but Stephen, I don't love Skyrim Pancake. You're right that the combat in Skyrim is not the one. But I mod the crap out of Skyrim and make it as close to a VR melee action game as I can. And that changes the dynamic somewhat entirely. Oh, I need to get back onto Skyrim as well. I have, you can't see him right now because I've got my fake background, but I obviously have a Skyrim display that normally sits behind me, and I have a Final Fantasy display that normally sits behind me. I have another one on the way because it's one of my many subscriptions and I get a free display. Not free because I pay monthly, but I get a display once a year. And I almost missed the previous year's display because I forgot that I get them. But I have one on the way. Can you guess what game I went for? Iconic game art from one that I like a lot. What would I go for? What would I want behind me? Used to have a lead plate. Dodge, I did, but the lead plate Oh, replicant shit. That's a good shout that I really should have looked at. I didn't think of Hades. Right. I'm buying a Hades one at the next point of passing go. Pass go, buy Hades display. You're absolutely right, and that's definitely what it should have been. It's not. It's not Cyberpunk. Isla, you said that your dad saw Skyrim and went, screw him. Screw him? I can't see if that's 2 R's or an M. Screw him. Good. Yeah, it's not Hades, it's not Cyberpunk. The guessing game is probably... I'm a grown-up and I'm aware that guessing games wear thin very quickly. Brute Force for the original Xbox. It's not, Luke. It's not. I tried for that one, but they didn't have it. And I tried for Panzer Dragoon Saga, but they didn't have it. Didn't actually try for Brute Force, obviously. Vampire Survivors. No, it's one Arthas Menethil. And I hesitated on saying the game because it's not because I thoroughly love World of Warcraft. It is an homage to Warcraft 3, despite the fact that the art is clearly from World of Warcraft. So I went for that. Figured that would look nice. I get a bit of the old Lich King. Brotato. Unfortunately, Gamsley, I searched Brotato and they said, don't be a dick. We've seen you pretenders claiming that you like Brotato, but we know you're making it up. And then it closed the browser. So, true story, that happened. Warcraft has some very good artwork, yes it does. Try again? Oh no, what have I done wrong, Stephen? What am I trying again on? I will do. I'll try anything twice. Maybe. You'd love that avowed artwork on a display. A lot of people were really raving about the... I know the one you mean, the kind of like paper white, I'm going to say, flower skeleton guy, right? That got loads of attention. I've not seen art. Wait a minute, Gamsey. You love World of Warcraft, you bellend. Can you believe it? I say I'm getting Arthas Menethil, one of the most iconic bits of game art in all of the universe, and Gamsey's like, oh, terrible taste in games, despite claiming to be a Warcraft nut. Despite claiming that he plays this. Yeah, Gamsley, walk it back. Walk it back. You wish Warcraft gameplay looked as good as the cutscenes. I don't, Chronic, because my soft spot is for Warcraft 3, which doesn't need to look like the cinematics because it was an RTS. I get what you mean on World of Warcraft, though. Doesn't have bad taste in Discord communities. I don't know, Daj. Broken Clock, right? He's ended up somehow it like... I take credit for it. I got Gamsley into us. And it's an awesome Discord community, but who knows what other Discord communities in? They might be awful. They might be like the Brotato Discord, where everyone talks about how they did nothing in Brotato because nothing ever happens. You bet Gamsley plays Alliance. He does not. I want to play World of Warcraft. Fuck. Was it? Yeah, you did, didn't you? You're right. No, I thought you told me you were a Blood Elf Paladin when you were pioneering the Hand of Blood, whatever it was, sacrifice thing. Self-damage. Both. Okay. Okay, so you told me you were a Blood Elf because you thought I would think you were cooler. You were a little bit shy in those early days on the internet. Only you ordered a new hair dye. What do you mean also? What else did you order? Oh, pizza. That's a strange order. Spent a lot of money for someone who can't find their wallet but happens to have their dad's card to hand. Don't blame you. Stephen, you liked the move. You thought Ben Foster was brilliant. Wait a minute. You liked the move. You thought Ben Foster was brilliant in it too. Wasn't he a goalkeeper? Oh, the World of Warcraft movie. Yeah, I understand. I actually didn't mind the World of Warcraft movie. I have it on ultra high definition Blu-ray. I have very few films on ultra high definition Blu-ray because it is a luxury that I can't partake in too often. But got that one as a demo disc for a TV once upon a time in 2016 or so. Literally, oh wait a minute. Oh, I see. So, you pioneered the Duke Hill. Good. Well done, Gamzy. I know, very highly rated Taekwondo athlete and World of Warcraft gladiator. You need to get back on the Final Fantasy 14 leveling. Yeah, I've not played Final Fantasy 14 for like 2 weeks, and it's an accident. I think my family have all dropped off and got bored of it because they're waiting for me. And I want to play World of Warcraft. But I've got to finish Pyre, do a Pyre review, get Sandland to Sandland review, and do Final Fantasy and Dragon's Dogma in the background in my own time, and play all of the VR games. I've promised Tony about 3 different VR games. And Overwatch 2. And we're going to do some Helldivers. We've got community streams on Sunday. And yeah. Tom, I'm glad you're cozy. I'm going to be honest, I'm a little indifferent to the nudity. But I'm glad you're cozy with the whole tooth and all of that. So have a good sleep. Have a good sleep. Hope the dentist fixes you up right quick. They slapped an entire raw red onion on your pizza. That could be worse. They could have put the hair dye on there. I think it's going well. So, what other games? Tell me more. We're still on the games topic before we get onto the actual topics. Today needs to be a really short show because today is a high-stress, bad day that needs to end as soon as possible, but not literally because I've got all of these games to play. So, I just played a bit of Zao. Has anybody else here been playing through that? Because Isla was telling me about her experience of Zao, and she's got further than I have. And seems to be enjoying it well enough. It's good. Raw red onion is amazing. JKV is going to be great. Tony, do you reckon that's ever actually coming out? You give a lot of stick and abuse to Xbox for not having dates on the games that they're releasing, but you never stop going on about JKV, do you? Do you ever question yourself on that one, Tony? Do you? No, probably not. Don't blame you. Gamesly, you chose Sandland. So you're going to tell me what you've been playing tomorrow, aren't you, Gamsey? Because we've got the Xbox Series podcast, which is going to be brilliant as well, I'm certain. Absolutely. Guys, you played Zao briefly. You played it so that we could talk about it on Tuesday's podcast, which is also brilliant. Good podcasts. Good podcasts indeed. That reminds me, I played that Have a Nice Death, didn't I, for the Tuesday podcast. Didn't enjoy it very much. I think I still like 2D platformers in general. But it's a difficult sell to get me onto Metroidvania or roguelike. Have a Nice Death is the roguelike structure. And it didn't start with a bang. It didn't start with like the taste of power that Hades gives you. Replicant, you finished Forbidden West finally. I know you still need to do your review because I had a little flick for an update today. When you say you finished Forbidden West, have you done the Burning Shores as well? Because I haven't done that. Have a Nice Death is a roguelite and it is perfect. Is it perfect though? I'll let you in a little secret, Gamsley. I don't like roguelikes or roguelites. For a similar reason to why I don't like Metroidvanias. I don't want to retread the same ground over and over again. The controls are solid. The controls were solid, if not that interesting. Right? You can, like, X does some slashes, down and X does a nice little swirly scythe to either side. I liked that. Up and X does a little dash up and attack and climb. That's nice. You have a little dash, which was on one of the triggers maybe, and it was okay. I don't like the way the when you're mushing the X button to do a standard attack on Have a Nice Death, the character does travel a bit awkwardly, I think. Like stutter staggers his way forwards in an awkward way. A lot of the enemies at the start just like don't do a lot and take little mild projectile shots that are slightly irritating. And the first weapon it gives you is this giant hammer that's too freaking slow to use. So you've got your normal scythe weapon that you always have is on X, and it's okay to use, but not. Get past the tutorial. I got past the tutorial, but I didn't get past the first like boss. But it didn't make me want to. I didn't get past that and go, oh, that felt good. And then get like a carrot dangled in front of me to let me know that it's going to feel even better next time. And a roguelike needs to do that. Needs to feel good and let me know that it's going to feel better next time. Or it doesn't. I get very quickly put off. It didn't make me feel like it was going to feel better next time, Gamsley. And you're right, there are quite a lot of spells, and there's an area at the start where you can go and like piss about and try all the spells. So those were quite interesting, I guess. But it's a roguelike. Don't push me to keep playing a game that I know I'm not into. Have you not been listening, Gamsley? I've got a million games that I do like that I need to play. Replicant, did you answer? I missed it. I missed it. Did you do the Burning Shores? That was a critical question. Got distracted with Stella. You've heard good things. Wait. Oh, okay. It was the same question. Luke still asked about Burning Shores. Yeah, so Replicant, do try it, because Burning Shores was the PS5 only DLC. Because they took what was already beautiful in the Decima engine and pushed it beyond the PlayStation 4 for the sake of that DLC. And it is supposed to be markedly better in terms of specifically like the sky and stuff, but also just more physically dense as well. So, Isla, what didn't you see? No one is brave enough to ask a question. No, that's okay. Like I say, quick showing. You got distracted by the fish gift. Who's been throwing fish anywhere? I haven't. Luke, is Hades the exception to my roguelite ban? Yes. I think it's actually currently the one exception. I really want Returnal to be on the exceptions list. And I'm going to go back and try that again at some point. But, yeah, no, Hades... But Hades, like, I've spoken about it too many times, but it does exactly what I was describing back there. You go into it, it feels really good, you feel really powerful, you have some fun, and then it sends you back and says, next one's going to be even more fun. It just dangles a little something. It gives you a bit of story in the way that Supergiant are just brilliant at doing. Gives you a bit of story and unfolds that, and also says, like, it was fun, wasn't it? But this time, we're going to tweak it a bit and make it even more fun. And it just does that again and again and again. And roguelikes, I don't know why other games don't look at what Hades has done and copy that part of the structure, but they really don't for me. Even like the lauded ones that other people are massive fans of. Dad's got a new Dragon Ball t-shirt that he's going to wear around town in some micro shorts. I don't know what micro shorts are, but like it's fairly self-explanatory, I guess. Good for you. Can't ask a question on mobile. Don't worry, we don't need loads of questions. People are welcome to stick them in. Oh no, I've got a Twitter DM from Gamsley. It's going to be abusive. He's going to have gifted me potato again. Okay, I got lost. What were we talking about? Roguelites. We've done that. Have a Nice Death. Probably never going to play Have a Nice Death again. Which is not to say there's no quality in it. If you were sitting here thinking, I really like roguelikes, I wonder if I should play Have a Nice Death, you probably should. Particularly like if you like 2D platformer style roguelites, with that relatively quick combat, relatively responsive movement, maybe it's brilliant for you. But for me, it had horrible music as well. Sorry, whoever composed the music for that game, I didn't enjoy it. Pierced my ears in a nasty way. So Dards has a question, but Dards, you'll be in bed by the time the questions go. This is already late for you. Nonetheless, stick it in there. Will there be an idea Xbox showcase? This is your question for later, isn't it? Damage control on the show. Not from me, but maybe from the others. Maybe they enjoyed it, Darge. Maybe they like different games to you. It's alright, isn't it? Bring back 8-bit platformers. Lethal Migraine, I don't disagree with that. I'm not usually a fan of 3D platformers, but when I say I don't like Metroidvanias and roguelikes, especially like responsive ones. I like the moment to moment, the feel of them, but I like to be moving forwards and making progress rather than repeating them. So if you take games like those and you don't make it Metroidvania, you make it like A to B, make progress through this game, then it's a genre that I do enjoy a lot more. I want to play Mario Wonder, for example. I freaking hate Mario as a character. Don't care at all. But it's like an old school 2D platformer, and I want to try it for my own sake to see if it's true that I actually do still enjoy those. I loved Rayman Legends. Brilliant game. Give me more Rayman Legends and less Metroidvania. Mario Wonder is really good. I hear that. I don't like Mario. Why do I say Rayman like that? You like... Why would you do that to me? So I don't like that Legends game. It's off the list, never to be spoken of again. Celeste, I didn't actually play that one. I've heard nice things about it. Heard nice things about Celeste. I don't know. Might play it someday. Who knows? Bring back Midway games. Either you want to eat the strawberries and lick the walls. You've got strawberries on your pizza. What? Fine, each to their own. Some people have their arguments about pineapple, and you always have to go one greater than you. Strawberries on your pizza. Fine. Oh shit. Luke says that Celeste is a top 10 game of all time for him. That's like rocked me back onto my heels. I'm sitting in a chair, so that doesn't mean a lot, but it's rocked me back onto my heels. I need Celeste sooner rather than later. When someone tells you that they enjoy a game that much and it's someone you know plays a lot of games, how can you not go and play it? So now I need to. Wait, Gamsey says it's the best platformer ever made. What the fuck? I wouldn't like what? Celeste or strawberries on a pizza? I don't like Hollow Knight very much, but Hollow Knight's a Metroidvania. Celeste isn't Metroidvania, is it? Or is it? Luke, do you like Hollow Knight? Either you ask Luke if he likes Hollow Knight. He's in the same chat as you. Celeste got awards for a reason. No? Tony, only Nintendo makes the best platforms. Go argue with your mother. My mum's not going to have an interest in who makes what platform games. She's got no strong opinions about that. Most games that win awards aren't any good. Is that right? There's lots of awards though. Different people recognizing different things. Just like the movies. Yeah, like Oscars have never meant... See a film wins an Oscar, it usually historically meant I probably wasn't all that interested in it, but that's because I'm an uncultured swine. I hated Hollow Knight in the 5 minutes I tried it. Facts. Not fun. Maybe I'll try it again someday. Dad, did you actually play Celeste, or is this a wind-up? Luke really likes Hollow Knight, but it is a Metroidvania, so you understand. Yeah. I don't know, like... Maybe at some point I'll find a Metroidvania that I really enjoy. Like Hades did for roguelites, and I'll be like, oh, I get it. This is how they're supposed to be. Although Ori didn't do that for me. I played quite a lot of Ori, as roguelites go. Didn't finish it because the structure did get to me. Prince of Persia, as Metroidvanias go, that one was like the most upsetting for me because it leans into it. It knows what a Metroidvania is, and it knows exactly why I don't like it, and it tells me to set these stupid little memory things around the map so that I remember where to go back to later and take a little photo. And I was like, You're taking the piss. Not doing it. Not doing it. And that was the end of my time with Prince of Persia. Look, Outer Wilds is higher in your rankings than both Celeste and Hollow Knight, so please play that. I can't play it again because I fucked up and looked up some details on it. I played it a bit. And honestly, from what I looked up on it, I don't know how much I would have enjoyed it if I had played it properly. Because like piecing together a mystery takes, I don't know, I can't do that on stream, it just makes me feel stupid. So you got Gamsley preaching. Wait, because we're crazy. These guys crazy. Who's crazy? Why are we crazy? Hollow Knight is obviously a quality game and it's probably top 10. I'm not saying it's not a quality game. Top 10 though, Gamsley. I reckon you've got at least 100 games in your top 10. Like, you're being way rash and impulsive here. Pretty much everything we mentioned is like, that's a top 10. Like an A. Everything. I like that a little bit. That's top 10. Rotato, yeah, that's top 10. It's not as good as like 5 other games in the same genre, but top 10. Dodge, I knew you'd go to sleep before the questions. Have a good night. You comment in genre, top 10 within the genre. Get the fuck out. Get out, Gamsley. We're not doing that's top 10 and then whittling it down to real specific genres like that. I don't see why not. You could if you want. You can do top 10 within a genre. Who am I to tell you what to do? But there's probably, like, most genres I probably couldn't name a top 10. That's how broad that is. Gamsley's top 10 games is like the TARDIS, exactly replicant. Oh, Isla, I'm hungry now. I want your strawberry pizza. You played games, Gamsley. You're a whippersnapper. I've played more games than you. Isla's gonna bring it. Oh, the strawberry pizza. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm busy on the internet at the moment. No time for pizza. Best game ever is Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. And the second is Tetris Effect. These are surprising choices, Lethal Migraine. Surprising choices indeed. I know that the Tale of Two Sons it hit quite nicely if you didn't know the tail end of the game. I didn't particularly enjoy the actual gameplay itself. The two-person puzzle structure of it. I think It Takes Two was more fun in terms of what's his face, like refining his craft in the two-player game. And Tetris Effect, I can't get on board with Tetris Effect. Even though I played it in VR, it's still just Tetris. You're not the only person by any stretch that cites Tetris as being best of the best games, but not for me. And in terms of that, like, spectacle and stuff going on, Pinball FX2 in VR was better than Tetris Effect, I thought. Not many people would agree with that though. So, Replicant, you don't think Brothers needed a remaster? Curious, why not? It's obviously not like visual cutting edge anymore. Not that it was necessarily like cutting edge when it came out, but Boozy, you saw a theory yesterday that Brothers is massively misogynistic and full of anti-woman trope. Maybe. I don't remember having enough characters for that to be the case. Wasn't full of... You got like the brothers that the story centers around. Presumably, I can't remember the story, like why they go on their adventure in the first place. So I don't know. I think that's a bit of a reach, but And FCW really enjoyed It Takes Two and A Way Out. I haven't played A Way Out yet. It's been suggested a few times. And I never actually got... Nobody would play It Takes Two with me. I was so lonely. I played the first, like, hour or 2 hours. With Gaz, actually. That was before it came out. We played the first hour or two. And then that was it. Everybody refused to play it with me, including you, Isla. You refused as well. Until the moment had passed and the game was dead. Impossible to play now. They go on an adventure to kill women because they hate them. That's not how I recall the game playing out, but it would be reasonable. No. It Takes Two is apparently getting a movie or a TV series or something with Dwayne Johnson. Yeah, I don't care for that, but I have had it, I suppose. JT, that hitbox, Burly Bird Media, guy in our Discord, he did an interview with the voice actor of the book in It Takes Two, which was weird because I always thought the book was supposed to have been voiced by Joseph Fares himself. Only because that was a tale that went round the world that the book was him, but it definitely wasn't. It was a professional voice actor. You need me to play Celeste. Gamsley, which subscription services is Celeste currently available on? And if it's none, then I will get it. I'm not asking this because I refuse to buy a classic game. But if I already have access to it, I will download it tonight. Is it on Game Pass? I know it has been in on Game Pass. And I think it went out, didn't it? Did it come back on afterwards? Lethal Migraine? No, you don't. Relax, okay? Let's not talk silly nonsense here. You don't need to play Potato. Right, if you must, then put it on when you go to sleep. But don't play it. Celeste is Games with Gold. Games with Gold is dead, but it's on Game Pass again. It came back into it. Okay. Okay, I will get it. I will play it. In fact. Wait. Oh, Isla confirms it is on Game Pass. No Potato. I gave you permission to skip it. Yeah, permission to forget that it existed. It's for the best. Balatro greater than Potato? Yes, it is. And I don't particularly like Balatro. It's not true. I think Balatro is a handheld play on the go game more so than anything. Which is just not something I ever do. Wait. Wait. Oh, I killed my sound. Actually. Do I still have... Ah, fuck, what did I do? I used to have a handy button that would show you what I'm doing on my Xbox. That button has gone. What did I do with it? Where did that button go? Huh. I'll bring it back another time. It's because I didn't have the correct capture card set up to show things. But while we're doing this little conversation, you keep talking. I'm going to uninstall Have a Nice Death. I'll let you have the sound so you know that it's true. Have a Nice Death. Fuck, how do you use an Xbox? Have a Nice Death. Don't play it. I don't need that space. That's like 1 gig or something. That can stay where it is. Game Pass. Show them all. How do you use an Xbox? Why can't I just search for this damn thing? Right, I'm going to the top. I'm searching for it on the global universal search thing. Celeste. Click. I hope you can hear it. I hope I'm inflicting suffering on your ears. Celeste, in Game Pass, install. Don't worry, the connection's fine because that is on my house line. Installing. 1.26 gigas. It's going to get played. And then I will be the judge of whether it is as good as you say it is or whether you have to apologise. Pete, your Game Pass runs out in 5 days. All the tricks and schemes you employed for it since launch to have a cheaper sub finally run out. Do you still... You bought Forza though, didn't you? Or did you just buy the... Did you buy the actual game or just the early access deluxe crown pack thing. Press Y for fuck's sake. What does Y do? Oh shit. Pete, you're a genius. Y brings up the search immediately. I just learned something about how to use an Xbox. That's not bad. That's not bad. Why doesn't it say that anywhere on the screen? Oh, it does. If you go down, if you scroll down a bit, it does tell you. Okay, cool. It's all worthwhile. I do vaguely know my way around these things, really. I'm just being a dick. So. Short men uniting against the giant. Wait, which game is this? Don't give me spoilers of the story of Celeste. Although that doesn't sound like Celeste particularly. So Pete, if for Forza and Starfield you bought the £30 upgrades, that means you need your Game Pass, right? You can't just let it expire or you won't be able to play those games anymore. I'm not a giant. And who's short? Let's get onto the topic, shall we? Because the show's nearly over and I forgot to mention any of them. So there were some other games played. We played some Halo, that was brilliant. We played some Forza, that was also entertaining enough. I played the Octopus Die, I played Have a Nice Death, I played Pyre. I haven't played any VR because that sucks and it's very sad. Haven't played any Final Fantasy 14. Played a tiny bit of Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth and thoroughly enjoyed that little bit because it wasn't the Chadley zone. That's it. That's games played. Covered. Why don't I get a job running socials for a dev? I'm no chance Lethal Migraine. I'm terrible at socials. I can't run socials for myself. Otherwise, haven't you heard? I'm like incredibly boring. I can't do especially I get pissed off when I see brands jumping on trends. You know that one you had like at some point last week, there were all of these like look between A and D on your keyboard and like freaking ridiculous, annoying social media practices. Best you get out of me would be like look between these keys on your keyboard and smash your face into it until you can't bother me anymore. So no. I'm too aggressive and boring to run socials for anyone. Plus, I don't get along with social media culture particularly, which is a massive hurdle and obstacle to doing like a YouTube channel and all of these kind of things. So I'll try and get other people involved to do that stuff. We have 2.2 questions. Okay, that's fine. That's good. You're tired. We're rushing through it. We're getting on to the topics. Let's start with the obvious. Because it's on the thumbnail, actually, I should definitely cover it. There's a Batman VR game coming. Another Batman VR game coming, because there was always like what was the Batman VR tech demo? Silly, like 15 minute explore the Batcave, throwing a batarang around, go and meet the Penguin demo thing when VR was new and baby-like. Batman VR Tell You More. There's not actually that much to tell yet, Boozy the Clown, except it is a Batman Arkham game with, as far as I know, I was going to say no link to Rocksteady and all of that, but actually they're using the Arkham name, and I don't actually know how ownership of that goes. Like, it's just the Batman IP, so it might be completely unrelated to the Arkham series that we've already seen. But this is Batman Arkham Shadow something VR. It is being made by the studio that made Iron Man VR. Iron Man VR was a PlayStation exclusive for a while, and then Meta, Facebooky, Oculus, whatever you want to call them, bought the studio that made the Iron Man VR game and negotiated for Iron Man VR to go to Quest. And it's okay. Iron Man VR is okay. It's quite fun flying around, but it came out on fairly limited hardware that holds it back a bit. Batman is being made by that studio, and they are quite creative. They know what they're doing. In fact, Iron Man VR was probably one of the best games in terms of like working around the limitations of the PSVR that it first launched for. was very cleverly done. The way that it controlled and let you fly and things. Batman VR is a Quest 3 or presumably Quest 2 and 3 exclusive, a Meta exclusive, which means there will be no high-end version, no PSVR 2, no PC VR version. That's slightly disappointing always, but you can get good games on the Quest. There's a Mud Runner game on the Quest that looks really good as well. Well, there are things coming around. It's a difficult thing, VR. VR games development and publishing changes my perspective on things in a lot of ways. When you look at like the arguments that people have about whether exclusives are good or bad within the broader ecosystem, usually talking about Xbox and PlayStation and all the rest of it, it's a completely different equation in the VR space, because if there is not a publisher throwing money at these things, then these games don't exist, and VR as a ecosystem and platform and technology doesn't move forwards at all, just like stays stagnant forever. So it gives me a very different perspective about a lot of things that seem logical when you look at the big picture of the big platforms, the ones that are already established. But yes, so unfortunately Batman VR, we're not going to know more about it until Summer Games Fest, the Keighley show. But they did a teaser trailer today. I could bring it up. Should I bring it up? It doesn't really show anything. I'll bring it up anyway. No, because I've got the Xbox open. I'm going to bring it up. Hold on. Get back to PC. TV controls not working. Here we go. Turn down my microphone again. Does anyone know what the game is called? Batman VR Shadow. No, Batman Arkham VR. No, it's none of these. Arkham Shadow. No, I had the whole name. Oh, what an idiot I am. Batman Arkham. I don't want to use IGN's upload of the trailer. Well, if I have to. This isn't an official channel, but it will do. Here it comes. You ready? Don't want to miss it because it's the whole thing. Meta Quest. Oculus Studios and Camouflage, whatever they're called. It zooms down to the streets of Gotham. It's raining, so I'm already sold. Like, give me the rain. I don't even need the VR mode. It's got rain. It's got rats. And Batman's hunting rats and has a shadow. Plague Tale levels of rats. Good job, Batman. Arkham Shadow. Coming this year to Quest 3, and it says only on Meta Quest 3. That's interesting, actually. I think that's the first, maybe the first game entirely, actually, that's Meta Quest 3 exclusive and does not support 2. Because even their big showpieces like Asgard's Wrath 2, they were cross-gen, as it were. So that could end up being good. I'm looking forward to it. Alien Romulus in VR. There's a roguelike Alien game coming to VR. Don't know about this Romulus thing, but there are actually some VR games coming. FTW have a Quest 2, what a shame. Well, it is a shame in terms of that specific game, but I think you can still play plenty of other things. Gamsley, you and Luke don't get along. You can't be a council. You don't get along because you misconstrue what Luke says on a regular basis and attack him. No, I'm glad you get along. Be a council, talk about games. Just know that you have no power here. Yeah. Now FTW, use it for PC VR. That's a good way to use it. The only problem with that, so PC VR is brilliant, and Unreal Engine VR mods and stuff are brilliant. But in terms of new VR games coming, Quest is like the most fertile soil. Because Meta are the only ones that are spending any money on it, so. Games, you have a lot of power. You're going to time out FTW, don't you dare. Poor FTW has enough struggles just being on the connection that he's on. Gamsy, you can't demand that I talk about Celeste tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to have time to play it. Oh, actually, maybe I will. Maybe I will. Anyway, that's all I had to say on Batman. Just excitement. It's a VR game. It's on Quest 3. It's probably relatively high budget as VR goes. And I say relatively, like relative to AAA console space, it'll be nothing, but within the VR space, pretty good. Do a 100% no deaths run. That's the only way that I play games, Isla. I've never died in a game. What are you talking about? So, of course I'm going to do a 100% no deaths run. That's just like default. It's called being good. FCW, you don't play enough VR to get Quest 3, at least not at the moment. Fair enough. And there should be oh, I don't know. I don't know if the Quest 3 Lite is a real thing or not. What's Boozy got? You bought a Quest 3 after 4 years of the Quest 1. You love it though, right, Boozy? Like the clarity of lenses and screens compared to what you got on the old ones. Even though, like, yeah, the graphics aren't perfect. I'm gonna bring up the Mud Runner one if I can find it, because Mud Runner looks surprisingly good for a standalone VR game. Don't like this music that's playing in my ears. Mud Runner VR. Mud Runner Expedition VR. Announcement trailer. Saber Interactive. Here we go. Look at this for a decent looking Quest game. Is it gonna look like Forza Horizon on your pancake screen? No. But there's a reasonable amount of detail there. You could get immersed in this. It could rain on that windshield and be brilliant. It's very nice for me to see the VR games are still coming. I'm at my happiest when they do something like this and they tell me that there is also a PC VR version. Like a high-end, pump them graphics up version. But just knowing that there are people still making the games at all makes me excited for whatever's coming next. The Quest 3 is not far off. It's not far off of where hardware needs to be for big games. So, is Tony going to be buying Mud Runner VR on Quest? Chronic, the question is will there be any kind of multiplayer content on it, because then I'll make him buy it and not get around to play it. Just like all these other games. The tribbles in your living room freak me out. Is that the name of your cat? What's a tribble? A tribble? Tribbles? Tribbles. It's not a bad cat name. So, what was the other topic? Starfield. Let's really quickly go over Starfield. And then we'll do the questions. Tell me about Starfield. Don't tell me about Starfield. I'll tell you about Starfield. No, you tell me about Starfield. So it's been confirmed now that the May update for Starfield, primary focus is fixing up the Xbox Series X version of the game, but it does include some bits and pieces of content as well, I think. The focal point of it, though, of what they've announced, is that there's a proper performance mode, a target 60 frames per second mode on the Xbox Series X. As well as some other modes. There's a target 40 frames VRR mode, and still the 30 frames quality mode if that's more your style. But something like that, because it was an issue for Starfield being 30 frames per second on the console, and whenever we've talked about Hellblade, I've always specifically said, like, Hellblade, I can understand it being 30. It makes sense as a target. For Starfield, it was a mistake. It should have they should have made 60 a priority for that game, just because you spend a lot of your time in that playing it as a first-person shooter, and a first-person shooter benefits so much from 60. And yes, Replicant, issue 1, like talking point 1, they came out and said 30 frames per second was a design choice and not a limitation of the hardware and all the rest of it. Doesn't this kind of justify that as being true? Or does this mean that they were lying all along and they just hadn't finished the game? You can take it either way, because on the one hand, if you make a design choice and feedback is negative and you then change your mind over that design choice, that's reasonable, right? So if Todd Howard is saying I prefer my games to be cinematic and 30 is right and everyone should have that, and they release the game and there's a massive backlash, then you could say both things are true. Maybe it was a design choice and it was a mistake. Or maybe, like Tony says, they were lying and the game just wasn't finished or whatever else. Replicant, you doubt the 30 frames wasn't due to being CPU bound. Well, that's interesting fact number 2. Because that one has always been like questionable. There was an assumption going into the launch of Starfield that the 30 frames per second issue would be a result of it being CPU bound because of the number of like simulations and systems and objects going on in the world, all the persistent potatoes. And after it came out and I played it, I no longer thought that was necessarily the case. It's very speculative, but I figured the lighting system was actually crippling the GPU in this thing. So maybe the CPU was an issue, but the GPU definitely was as well. So it was not a clear cut, this is a CPU bound game scenario. And now we don't know what they're changing to make this thing work. It could be that there are less objects, or they are like dumbing down something gameplay wise other than just making it look worse. But they are like, the game is not hard CPU bound, or we wouldn't be getting a 60 frames per second mode. So that is kind of interesting because it reduces the number of CPU bound games on the consoles right down to Dragon's Dogma 2. And probably like there's bound to be, I don't know if Cities Skylines 2 is out on consoles yet, or like there'll be some kind of building game like that's 30, I'm sure, that is like genuinely CPU bound. But typically across the board, I would say it bodes well for the PlayStation 5 Pro that Starfield is in fact not CPU bound. Almost nothing so far is CPU bound. It is the GPUs in these consoles. They're not these perfectly balanced systems that people thought. They are being held back by GPU more so than CPU. Which bodes well for the PlayStation 5 Pro. And it's a weird link to make, like Starfield to PlayStation 5 Pro, but just whittling down the number of CPU bound games. Again though, it's not out yet. We'll see if it, like they say, targeting 60 frames per second, and that's, you have to say targeting it. Like it's naive to say locked if you're delivering a sandbox game, because anyone can break a sandbox. But they're targeting 60 frames per second, presumably mostly deliverable. And yeah, is anyone going to go back and play Starfield? For me, the other stuff that they said is they've confirmed that land vehicles are coming, but not in the May update. They're coming later. So they've confirmed that it's happening so people know, but it's not ready yet. And obviously Shattered Space is coming later this year as well. So at what point do you return to Starfield? Be it on Xbox or otherwise. I didn't actually finish the campaign, and I want to finish it at least twice because reasons. Stephen, yeah, that's my take as well, is I will probably wait until Shattered Space is there. Because I don't want to keep on coming back to it with every bit, like every drop. I don't know, if anybody played it and enjoyed it, but was just put off by the frame rate on the Series console, then maybe they'll want to come back sooner. Pete, you're 200 hours in and you stopped. You're going to go back for Shattered Space, yeah. Are you going to play it on Xbox, Pete? Because I know you've got your PC on the go as well now. I know you played it on Xbox the first time. Boozy, you played it the other day and the frame rate was more like 10 frames per second at bits. And you got locked in an object management loop. How did you manage to get it down to 10? This is the difficulty with a sandbox. Is you give people toys and they should be able to tank the frame rate unless you put lots of limitations on there. We don't want limitations, we want the freedom to do whatever we want. So really, like especially with silly things like console commands, but even without, you give me a game like Starfield, I should be able to tank the frame rate eventually by gathering every potato in the universe, putting it in my fully automated city, all the vehicles I can, and making everything explode. I should be able to force that frame rate down. So talking in terms of locked frame rates becomes a mistake. But as a performance target, 60 is good. You were just jumping about on a moon, nothing too taxing happening on screen, but the frame rate crashed through the floor. What system was that on, Boozy? Was that I know you've not got a PC, of course you mentioned it on the VR stuff. So was that Series X? Or S? But if it happening with like nothing around suggests bug, I'm assuming, which is not unusual for a Bethesda game. Who knows what it was trying to do to tank it down like that. Do you think like Twitter doesn't matter to me and the people on there and their opinions don't particularly matter, but is Starfield bringing 60 frames per second this late in the day reflecting positively or negatively on the game and on Xbox and on Bethesda? Is it just making like people angry that it wasn't like that in the first place, or are people receiving it as like a treat? Who cares how people receive it, eh? Who cares? Which almost reminded me of another topic, but I can't be asked with that. Stephen, the frame rate never bothered you in Starfield, but the foliage and trees looked really terrible. So I played on PC, so the frame rate was like okay most of the time. The colours bothered me, but not performance. But did you play mostly first person or third person, Stephen? Because I find it's very difficult for 30 frames per second to feel nice in a first person scenario. But third person with the right developers, with the right amount of craft behind it, you can pull off 30 in a third person game sometimes. Starfield just wasn't that game for me. Starfield was a first person shooting game that needed that frame rate, and now apparently it's going to get it. Evening, Space Denizen. Space Denizen, you're my regular VR catch up guy. What have you been playing in the VR space? And are you excited? So I know you're a PC VR guy as well, so are you excited by the Batman Arkham Shadow game, or frustrated that it's going to be held on Quest? Chronic, it just exposes Todd Howard for saying that he would need to make sacrifices to achieve 60. It doesn't expose him yet. We need to see what the sacrifices are. If the sacrifices are trivial and meaningless, then maybe he looks a little bit silly for saying that. But if you get it and it looks like, you know, when you have mirrors in Returnal and you get this reflection of the main character Selena, it looks absolutely awful. If you go into Starfield, set it to 60 frames per second mode and it looks absolutely awful, or it looks like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth performance mode or something like that, then you'd be like, all right, Todd, you were right. Space Center, and you played a bit of modded Fallout 4, but mainly Outer Worlds, sorry, with UEVR. When you modded Fallout 4 VR, did you use like a pack? Because this is on my list to do quite soon. Did you use a pack, or did you pick up the mods yourself? I modded Fallout 4 VR ages and ages ago, but just with my own, I'll say hand-picked, but it was like dumbly hand-picked selection of mods from the Nexus. That's the overhaul I thought about. Okay, that's the only pack that I know about. The Wabberjack one from Gingus, or whatever she's called. Okay, I'll do that. Did you find it was a decent VR experience once you had that particular pack installed? I've never actually installed a Wabberjack pack. I kind of need to revisit my Skyrim mod loadout as well, as I broke the shadows on it. So I might do a Wabberjack over there too. For those that don't know why I'm making up words, Wabberjack is just a preset, predefined collection of mods that you can apply to your Bethesda games. Does all the work for you, so you don't have to worry about your load orders and crap like that. And compatibility issues all sorted. Anyway, I'm suddenly really sleepy, so let's do the questions at the end of the show, you know, question time. Isla, could you bring up the first question for me, please? Wait for the Tony the Arcadia pack. Yeah, but Tony does, but he'll definitely make everything nude. So Tony's pack might not be ideal. It's okay. You can relax. There were some quirks for it, but you enjoyed it. It's got an inverse kinematics mod like Skyrim does. Space Citizen, did you mod up Skyrim VR as well? Because Skyrim VR, if you're familiar with it, has the inverse kinematics, but you've got stuff like Planck and Higgs in there that let you grab things and manipulate things in the world. And I need that for Fallout 2. I don't know if there's equivalents there. Gonna do that with the new PC. Fair. Skyrim has, or last I checked the mods in Skyrim did more to fix it. It was in a better place than Fallout VR. So Gamsley has asked, tea or coffee? I'd probably be less tired if I'd had some coffee on me, Gamsley. Quite often for Q&Asa I go the hot chocolate route, so you need to tweak and adjust your question. But no, I've only got the red wine today. I've actually got a full cup of tea here as well, but it's from earlier in the day that I forgot to drink, which is very sad to see. Right, Replicant, thoughts about AMD reporting a 48% decline in gaming, reporting weak demand for Xbox and PlayStation 5 silicon. Yeah, I didn't actually know that. I haven't seen that until this question, but it makes sense. The audience for buying consoles at launch price has dried up. People that wanted to buy those have bought those. So if AMD want to keep selling the silicon at the same price 3 years later, demand is going to be weak. Sorry, AMD. Like, of course. It just goes to show, though, the PlayStation is going to struggle similarly. We've seen Xbox's reported figures drop in 30% year on year twice in a row, so massive tanking of Xbox hardware. PlayStation hasn't reported anything severe, but they did cut their estimates last year. I think the severe hardware drops are coming for them as well. Obviously, the PlayStation 5 Pro will partially mitigate it for that most hardcore of PlayStation audience that want the latest and greatest all the time, but no one's expecting that to be a massive seller in its own right, I don't think. So, difficult times for consoles when they can't get them cheaper. I don't know if anything's due to change on there. I don't follow the silicon foundries and all the rest of it to see what's really going on. But is the No Killer App? See, the No Killer App games one, though, I'm less inclined to go along with that. I get that there's a lot of cross-gen games, and I get that there's a massive audience for your service games like your Fortnites and stuff that are cross-gen. But I don't go in with the negativity that other people have about the games this generation, because people say on one hand that there's no great games this gen, it's been really disappointing, and on the other hand they tell you they're having like the best year ever for games, and the two things don't go together very well. I don't know, people seem to hold both opinions simultaneously. 2023 was brilliant for games, but there aren't any games. And that's not to say I don't get it, like it is a different generation. There are very few games that you can't play on that previous generation, so I do understand, I do take the point, really. But Chronic, that is another thing. A lot of people would have known that the Pro would come, so there probably are a few people decided to hold out on the generation expecting that better hardware later. No games that match the tech bullshit that was spouted before the machines were launched. Yeah, I'm not sure how well either company has conveyed the difference in playing like the new gen compared to the last one. Because obviously PlayStation, like, they get laughed at for the way that they push their super fast SSD, Tempest sound, haptics in the controller. Like, if they have a marketing deal for a game, then you know they're going to talk about those three things to the point that they get laughed at. And I don't think Microsoft have had an equivalent kind of push, like a feature push to make people understand what's different. So, and they obviously have like a very broadly equivalent experience. They can do what PlayStation does in terms of it's still got its responsiveness, it's still got the same, like it's got its own surround sound. Obviously they already had that to some degree anyway. it's doing the same things, but they've not had that clear messaging to tell you this is why you'd want to play here. So I guess if you're on the outside and you don't follow these things really closely, all you do see is like, this game is available on a console that I already have, and the next one, and it's not really selling you the message that it is a better experience on the new one. But if you do, like, if you're in there, if you're in that space and you're playing on these consoles, like, try going back to the previous generation now. It's horrible. Go back and play on an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4, and you'll become acutely aware of the differences between the two, I would say. But yeah, like, us being acutely aware, that doesn't help their sales any, so. And Space Denizen is having the best year thanks to UEVR. Is the Space Denizen, are the profiles more accessible now? I've been waiting for, there's an extra piece of software that begins with R that they keep on promising that will manage profiles for you. So you just like say, I want to play that, and hit the buttons, and it gets a suitable profile for you to jump in and play. I'm very lazy, so I've been waiting for that to come about. I need to do more UEVR, especially as the thing with UEVR as well is all of the games that like first or third person or whatever work in UEVR. If they work with a controller and they have analog controls, then they work particularly well with my treadmill. Probably better than most native VR games with a treadmill, because native VR games have a tendency to make you walk slowly for one, because people get sick if they move fast, and they have like a fixed ratio sprint. I hold this button to sprint. So you end up on a native VR game, you usually have, you're restricted to 2 speeds of movement. You're either walking or you're sprinting. Whereas most games that have controller support and analog control, they have like a linear scale of how fast you're moving, which is perfect for the treadmill, because you can tune that to be like, I'm walking in real life, I'm jogging, I'm sprinting, and all the rest of it, and have it be responsive in the game. So actually, VR games, like UEVR games, modded games, suit the treadmill better than the native ones, and really I should be all over that, playing it all of the time. Oh shit, I need to do that. Uninstall Celeste. We've got Unreal Engine VR mods to play. Gonna get to all of them. UEVR is convoluted. It's not, it is and it isn't, Tony. It's super simple to play something like Tekken 8 in UEVR. You just like launch it and go, and it works like perfectly. It's convoluted when it gets to having like to enhance the game to make it properly VR, to take over the functionality of a game and decide you want to disconnect the gun and aim it and shoot it and stuff like that. And that's where the profiles come in, and that's why I've been waiting for this tool to come out that handles it all for you. But there is a proper UI coming. So hold your horses, Tony. I'll let you know when it's there, and we will use it for Borderlands 3 co-op, and everybody will enjoy it, but mostly me. Next question, please. No, wait, there's already one. It's Darge, big fan of this show. Question is, do you think Nintendo will re-release Switch 1 games onto Switch 2 with next-gen patches, or just move on to new installments? I hadn't considered next-gen patches. No, neither. They're not gonna... Oh, that's a good question, actually. They're not gonna bother patching them. So you got multiple parts to that question. Are the Switch 1 games just going to be back compat on the new console? Can you just go and play them? Hopefully. Are they enhanced anyway? I'm going to say hopefully, but probably not. But maybe like if the next Nintendo console does have some kind of DLSS based upscaling, maybe they do have a universal upgrade that just works. You play your Switch games and actually it's going to make them look better on your TV than they would have done. That would be ideal. Are Nintendo going to go and specifically patch the games to take advantage of the new hardware? No, they won't do that. Are Nintendo gonna re-release, like do that patchwork, but release it as an entirely new game and call it a whatever Switch 2 edition, Breath of the Wild, glowy Switch nonsense, whatever they're gonna call it, edition for the full price? Yeah, I can see them doing that. I can see them doing that because Nintendo gonna Nintendo. You get much worse emulated versions of old games for dollars. Yeah, Boozy, pretty much. Pretty much. FTW, if they get profiles, you're going to buy Borderlands and play it with Tony. FTW. And me. You can't exclude me while I'm right here. There's a camera on my face. The people will see the tears rolling down my face. Don't do this to me. You're going to play Borderlands 3 with Tony and me. Oh no, I've been excluded. It's the end of the show. We have to go. Cut the camera. Cut it. Next question, please. FTW, putting this again, just to add a question. When will there be updates on the Nintendo podcast? Isla, when's there updates on the Nintendo podcast? Why did I ask Isla? Isn't that strange? Space Denizen, you've played a bit of Borderlands 3 with UEVR. 4, 6. Good. Space Denizen, did you play Borderlands 2 VR? Like the actual Borderlands 2 VR? Is the modded Borderlands 3 like broadly equivalent in terms of how well it works? Borderlands 2 was a decent VR port, except it didn't have any multiplayer in it, which was a very fundamental core part of what made Borderlands 2 fun in the first place. So it was gutting that they took the multiplayer out, but they otherwise did pretty well with it. Borderlands 3 doesn't get to take the multiplayer out because it's just a mod for the base game. FCW, the Nintendo podcast. Isla's going to make some calls and see if we can get some answers on when that's starting. That's the best answer I can give you right now. Tony, Quest 3 equals no games. Gonna sell it and buy a PS5. Tony, don't be like that. I'm sorry that we haven't played enough VR. Would you like to play VR? So you can do the 10 o'clock ones. Does VR work for you in those evening slots that you talked about? They're a little tricky for me because VR's quite noisy and I've got children asleep, but I've got a longer weekend as well. Oh, we're going to play some VR this weekend, Tony. Don't sell it. Don't sell it. Yes, FTW, keep on asking. Oh, and look, Space Denizen says that Borderlands 3 is just as good, if not better. And multiplayer works great. He had a little bit of trouble with one of the vehicles, but it hasn't really been any jank. Tony, we're playing Borderlands 3 in its entirety in VR. And Space Denizen, is that 4-player co-op, that one? Or anyone that's played Borderlands 3 pancake mode? We're going to have so much fun. So much fun. FCW, you started this fight. You're not excluded. In fact, FCW, if you want to play the... So you got Quest 2 and you got a PC that can handle that as well. So if you want to get involved in Dungeons of Eternity as well, that's a good one. And what else have we got on the list, Tony? Oh, Among Us and stuff. We're gonna use the looking for group function on the Discord in that forum there. So you're not excluded at all because you're in that Discord. You just stick your name on the games and we'll make them happen. We will make them happen. We will make them happen. Maybe on like a Saturday evening. Oh, there's an open slot to think about. Next question, please. Tony, don't sell your Quest 3. We're going to play so much of it. This is my fault. I feel deeply responsible for letting everybody down that's got these headsets ready to go. At the same time, help me with times. People need to volunteer to play. Tell me when. Very difficult to bring people together at particular time slots. Peter's asked, when will Isla be on the Nintendo podcast? I would say almost every week. And I say almost because I'm leaving room for maneuver for her. And she'll probably be mad that I leave that room for maneuver, but yeah. Yeah. Steve in Southwick has asked, do you think that GTA 6 releases in VR, it would push more people to VR? Absolutely. Of course it would. Big games coming to VR would push some more people to VR. and yet we don't see it. Because not many, like there's no particular motivation for a publisher to do that. Take-Two don't gain anything from pushing people to VR particularly. Everyone's going to buy GTA 6 anyway. So it would need someone with a vested interest in VR to pay for that work. And the VR audience themselves, the people that want to play it, obviously they have a vested interest because they want to play it, but there's not enough of them to justify that kind of work. So it needs someone that wants to, that specifically wants to overinvest to see the platform succeed, start paying out for it. Like Sony tried, they paid Capcom to do the Resident Evil games. I say they tried, like what kind of a half-assed attempt is that? They could have tried so much harder, and maybe there'd be more people with PSVR 2s right now. Meta have that vested interest, but they've firmly set their direction to standalone hardware. So GTA 6 is probably not a fit for them. GTA San Andreas, they've supposedly been doing that for the longest time now. Like GTA as an IP is a fit for them, and should still be coming. But who else is there? Sony aren't going to do it. Valve make their own games if they're going to. They don't do marketing deals, so... What comes first, chicken or egg? VR audience or VR games? Answer: nothing yet. Good thing we've got UEVR to fill the gap. The Call of the Mountain director got let go. Hang about. So Aliens and Batman first titles might show what Quest 3 is capable. Is the Aliens Rogue VR game, is that not a Quest 2 one? Is that the first Quest 3 native, like only Quest 3 game? Isla's drinking hot chocolate, that's good news. And yes, the Batman one I obviously saw in the trailer, that says only for Meta Quest 3, so that'll be one worth looking at. I'd still obviously rather they were making a PC VR version of it. But get what I can get, support what I can support, because I want more VR stuff. No Quest 2 for Aliens as well. Interesting. I wonder if I'm going to get left out of my Quest Pro. I probably am. Ah, fuck. Ah, fuck. Ah, fuck. Fuck. Okay. Okay, I was already having a bad day. Now I'm having a bad VR release year. Fuck. I love my Quest Pro still. I haven't got a Quest 3 because most of my VR is PC VR, and Quest Pro in some ways handles it better. Not in every way. There's advantages to the Quest 3 and there's advantages to the Pro. But for Batman and Aliens, the Quest Pro screens would be nicer. They handle darks better than the Quest 3. Ah, bollocks. Gonna need one, aren't I? Or whatever's next. Give me a Quest Pro 2 that can play everything and have the nice features of this one. Meta Canon will drop their storefront. Have you seen the prices on there? Tony, their storefront's been dead for... It's still called Oculus, their storefront. It's been that way forever. They don't release any content on there. I fully expect them to drop it, and I will be devastated when they do, because some of the best VR games are only available on that store. I hope that there's enough pushback, and there is quite significant pushback in the VR space. I hope there's enough pushback that before closing their store, they release those games onto Steam, and then everybody's okay. Everything's hunky-dory. I don't care if I have to buy them again, but I just don't want those games to become completely unavailable when that store goes away. Chronic, you're going to stream it for me. You know that that's not equivalent. Pancake games, you can get like a chunk of the experience from watching it streamed, depending on what you're looking to get out of it. Obviously, you can't get the gameplay out of it, but you can see the game, you can experience the story and all the rest of it. But VR games, you can't experience those from a stream. You can't. So... I scared you. That is because I am a scary motherfucker. I scare everyone. And you might be sitting there right now thinking, no, you haven't scared me. It's because I haven't tried yet. I know I haven't got Quest 3 yet, Chronic. My life's going to turn around and I'm going to buy everything that I want. You'll see. I'll show you all. There's a lot of things that I want. It's a problem. Next question, please, if there are any more. Oh, it got late. Sorry. Borderlands 3 was $9. It goes on sale often. So, Chronic, if you're trying to get Borderlands 3, you'll be able to get that dirt cheap. It's been given away so many times. There'll be keys all over the place. You might need to put up with the Epic launcher, but you'll be able to get it for like £4 or £5, I would think. Because it's been given away, keys have been given away with like AMD hardware and various other things over and over again. No. You thought there was an emergency? There is. I might not be able to play the Batman game. It's not like there's not that much urgency around it, but it's kind of critical. Joe, knickknacks, nice and spicy or ribbon saucy? Nice and spicy, but I haven't had them for probably like 30 years, so I can't remember the difference. They were two good flavors though. I do remember that much. Can you still get knickknacks? Are these still a real thing? Wait a minute, Chronic, you're not asking about Borderlands. This isn't more peer pressure, is it? Oh, okay, ignore me, Chronic. No, I'm still telling you, you have to refund. You have to refund Among Us VR because no one's volunteering to play it. So, Space Raiders still exist and they cost 40p. Bastards. Bastards indeed. Okay. That's the next question. Maybe at some point we'll do a poll and everyone can tell us what knickknacks they prefer. Next question, if there are any. I'm whizzing through now because this ran longer than I anticipated. They always do. They always do run longer. Don't know what we've spoken about. But hopefully it's been a nice time. I've enjoyed it. They messed up ribs and the ribbon saucy ones. Oh, in the quest to reduce salt content and all the rest of it. They probably ruined a few flavors. Yeah. Need to get some original recipe and see how they do compared to today's food. Anyway, there are no more questions. That means we've reached the end of the show. Replicant Space Raiders used to be 10p indeed. Yes, they did. And penny sweets used to be a thing. So, I've been alive a while too. You got a cupboard full of pickled onion Space Raiders. You love them. Good. Tony, you're a question mark. You're a question. You mean you submitted one, it hasn't come through? No, Tony. Get it in quick if you've got one, because I haven't seen it. And I mean real quick, because I'm pressing the button to end the show. Okay, so the background for today. Right at the start, Connor said that it was Arkham Knight or something like that. It's Gotham Knights. So it is the toned down, not as good Arkham universe. And the OST, I can't remember what it is. Yes. I'm sure you did, Ira. It's not been the first time I've used this background. In fact, I've used it many, but you were thinking it. That's good enough for me. You can have the points. Time for bed for STW. Yeah, it's time for bed for me as well. I might try and get a bit of Celeste in first. Nah, I'll save that for tomorrow. Oh, you were looking at pictures of Batman games. Yes, I understand. That's one of my hobbies too. Anyway, yeah, we are done. Tony, whatever question you've got to ask, which it seems it's not, it seems you're just being mysterious. I'm always available to talk to because Discord and all the rest of it. So, did you notice that pretty much everyone that comes through on these shows is a member of the Discord? Because it's a secret show. And, uh-oh, what's the time? What's the time, Chronic? It's just gone 10 to midnight. Panic. Good night, everyone.
Asa. Game on Daily.